Welcome, Sojourners. You have found yourself a cozy place here at Sojourners Awake. I'm Jonathan, and this is our production of The Fairy and the Free. Like you, the Sojourners are on a mission. They face conflict and sometimes even danger. And in this most recent production, the Sojourners recovered from their nasty run-in with the Cult of the Dead 3. While recovering in the House of Healing, they still had to make their plans to recover the book that was located inside of Crankshaft's cottage. No one here at Baldtop Library could convince the man that the book was needed, and so this task fell upon the Sojourners to do it in the most shadowy and underhanded sort of way. But as they discussed and planned, soon enough, they came up with a better idea. But this was not before the Queen of Air and Darkness decided to make a special surprise visit to her servant, Tryina. And as the Queen of Air and Darkness learned of her companions, Tryina anticipated this move and called for the Sojourners to escape out the window. And as the Queen rounded the corner, she found nothing but an empty room, and Tryina standing there innocently. The priest, Eldon, rounded the corner, and suffering the wrath of the Queen, he was petrified into a block of ice. And so for now, our story continues. The winter air breezed through the courtyard. After confronting members of the Cult of the Dead 3, the Sojourners were led away into the House of Healing. There they recovered and learned they had stumbled onto a plot to execute a series of murders within Baldtop Library. Who really understood the wicked ways of the Lord of Murder? These gods twist plot and powerful knowledge and love into weapons, causing pain. And as the Sojourners rested, they met Eldon, a young priest who attended the sick and injured at the library. In the other room, the young man patient, still sick with the cult's disease, waxed greatly into a fever. However, surprisingly, Samoon, though afflicted with this same curse, had recovered by some miracle and found himself a nice new coat. Kalan, the gatekeeper, wryly implied he knew of their secret mission to go and retrieve the Book of Healing from Crankshaft, an old man living on private property within Baldtop Court. Late into the night, the Sojourners talked and devised their plans, and as fate would have it, right before they prepared to leave, the Archfey, the Queen of Air and Darkness, surprised Tryina with a visit. As a black cat, she appeared and insisted the young Eladrin introduce her to her new Sojourner friends. Tryina ran up ahead and called for an emergency escape just in the nick of time. And as the Queen of Air and Darkness rounded the corner, poor Eldon froze into place before the manipulative and powerful Archfey. Bertie and Samoon, through nothing but the window, you escape. And as you leave the House of Healing, to where do you go? And how do you appear?
Okay, Bertie is wearing her hospital gown, the pajama outfit that she had while she was lying in bed, and she's cold, but she escapes out the window and just looks for a place to kind of hide behind, the corner of the building, or a building corner, so she's out of view from whatever, but still able to see what happens.
Samoon is pretty much following Bertie, and so he runs behind her, ducks around the corner, and seeing that she does not have proper attire on, having clothed myself, I offer her the jacket that I have recently received as a gesture of support.
Indeed, it is cold, Bertie. Samoon offers you the jacket and it immediately hugs around your skin, instantly providing heat.
Oh, this is very warm, Samoon. Thank you.
You are welcome. I just got it myself, so please take care of it.
I
But
will.
if
I
you need
will.
it, you can have it.
Oh no, I'll give it back. I just need to find some clothes.
Bertie, the jacket begins to squeeze you and
This is
shrink.
very tight. It's
It
getting
shrinks
tighter.
tighter and tighter. Please make a Constitution saving throw. You're going for a 15.
20.
20. You're able to push back, and what you feel is happening is the jacket is angrily responding to you, tightening around you, and attempting to do you harm and pain.
Samoon, I don't think I really like this jacket. It seems too small. So, here. She takes it off and puts it back. I can suffer the cold. I've got a little extra, fluff. So, I'm good.
What? I thought it was slightly bigger than when I gave it to you.
And indeed, as you touch it back to the moon, it restrains and it clamps to your shoulders and provides a protective barrier. You can now sense its magical presence. It seems that Eldon has given you a +2 armor class cloak. Instinctively, it protects you.
Well, I'm sorry, Bertie, that the cloak did not work for you, but maybe we can go find one really quick. Perhaps somebody can help us. In fact, why did we go out the window?
I don't know. I think there's an emergency. That black cat seemed really bad.
Yes, it was very weird for Tryina to just yell at us to run. I mean, I was pretty panicked, but now I'm curious what for.
The window is still open, and inside, you can hear a voice. You have but only 5 feet to move before you can get within earshot, and 5 feet the other direction to get to a safe distance away from the voices. Bertie and Samoon, how do you respond?
Do you think we should sneak up and listen?
Well, I'm kind of I'm nosy, I'll be honest. I like to hear what's going on. So let's just, you can be behind me. It's okay. Just, I'll listen.
Oh, well, I don't mind sneaking up myself if you would like, but if you would like to go first, be my guest.
I think so. I'll just creep up a little. She crouches down and just stays like as close, as far away as possible, as low as possible, but still be able to hear.
Her hospital gown kind of falls to the side.
Oops, I'm
Bertie.
sorry.
Oh no, you are totally fine. I see nothing. Look at the snow coming down. Very, very nice outside.
Bertie, it is incredibly cold. And the snow is gently settled in, and although it's a clear night, the wind is whipping up pretty hard. Because you're a small-sized creature, I'm going to give you advantage on your stealth check. Samoon, do you press forward to the window, or do you remain back?
I'm going to also press forward to the
right.
window very gently.
Okay, gently give me a stealth check.
12.
Wait, can't you go invisible in darkness? Because you're a Gloomstalker?
No, that's.
Oh, okay, never mind.
And on that note, good point. The sun is gently creeping over the horizon, and the light rays of the morning are starting to wash over the court of air. All right, you got a 12, Samoon. Bertie, you?
12.
All right, the number to beat was a 3. So you're doing just fine. And you hear and see a very elegant, tall, fey creature. She appears as a woman with blonde hair and pale white skin, and all around her cloak are icicles hanging from her, fronds and frost on her head. And she is speaking very loudly to Tryina, and you can see Trina's face as you gently poke your nose over the window. And here, Tryina, you are being reamed at by the Queen of Air and Darkness. And she says, between profanities and cursing and yellings, "Is this some kind of joke? Where are these friends? Is your friend this small chair? Is your friend the bed? Is your friend that man over there frozen in time? Don't toy with me, Tryina." And she sticks a finger in your face.
Well, I mean, they were here, and I thought they were my friends, but maybe they just waited for me to leave so that they could get away. But, well, he's my friend too. And I point to Eldon. It's like, I'm so sorry. I didn't know they were just going to leave like this, honestly. They were right here. You saw them when you came in.
What do they look like? And don't lie to me.
One's a man from the desert region, and the other is a halfling. That's all I'll say for now.
So you give very minimal details.
Very minimal details, yeah.
All right. Go ahead and make a persuasion check.
That's a natural 20. And I have a +7, so that's 27.
It's pretty darn good. She says, "I don't have time for this." But then she forms a snowball into her hands and she begins to scry on the creatures that you have described. And Tryina, you begin to see that images of Bald Top Library, almost as if a camera or a drone is moving through the library. You see it first, the Court of Air, and the vision slowly descends into the Court of Air, and you see the sun rise, coming over the horizon. You see the small window of the House of Healing. As she searches, Samoon and Bertie, you begin to feel a tingle on the back of your neck, as you are the closest person that Tryina has described. As the Queen of Air and Darkness search for you, you'll need to make a wisdom saving throw to get away from her presence. Go ahead, Bertie.
11.
A 20.
Yeah?
I was like, can I try something to stop her?
So here's what you see. You see,
Okay.
Samoon, you feel a snowflake begin to fall and you instinctively slap it. And you look back and you see the snowflake has disintegrated to a million shards like a mirror, a broken mirror in your hand. It dusts off as soon as you shake your wrist. Bertie, the same snowflake begins to fall on your neck. And you do not wipe it away, as you are indeed beginning to be scried upon. Tryina, you see that in the snow globe, you start to see what looks like Bertie leaning over, looking into the window, clothed in a hospital gown.
I want to start to peer in, as though I'm really interested in what's being seen, and then I want to conveniently trip forward into her ball like it was a mistake. So that whatever her orb is destroyed. And
Okay.
if I need to roll up a new character tomorrow, let me know.
Yeah, you do.
Okay.
Without any level of difficulty. That is easy enough to pull off, to feint and knock the globe to her out of her hands. You see tiny bits of Bertie just shatter across the floor, and then the snow globe just melts into droplets of water.
Oh, my lady, I'm so sorry. Oh no, I wanted to see if you had the right person. Oh, I'm so clumsy. I'm so awful. I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. And I drop to my knees and start. I'm very terrified right now, so I'll say I'm really sobbing, trying to make it look like I'm just so apologetic, but I'm really pretty sure I'm about to die. I also shouldn't have done this now that I think about it, but it's too late.
Yeah, I'm thinking. Okay. Does an 18 hit you?
Oh yeah.
You drop to your knees, And you see that her frosted eyebrows are covering her gaze as she was looking down, slowly rise up, and you see her eyes are just flashing with anger. She backhands you across the face, dealing 17 permanent damage, reducing your hit points by 17, and is characterized by a long, frosted scar burn across your face. You go sailing across the room and slam, knocking over the bed, knocking over the tables. She looks and breathes a frosted breath and says, "You would do well not to cross me again. Remember who the queen is."
I never forget.
"I am late." She slowly walks away. You see a puff of snow and wind burp out of the hallway. And her footsteps are gone and silent. Bertie, that itchy feeling on the back of your neck suddenly disappeared right before you heard Tryina slammed across the room. In this tense moment, Bertie and Samoon, do you have any questions? What do you notice about this area?
I mean, Bertie kind of looks up to see if it's actually snowing. She sort of sticks out her tongue. There's no snow coming down. So she just looks back in the window, and she sort of like, she doesn't rage, but she starts to feel like that burning sensation inside of her. And then like there's this spirit voice in the back of her, just kind of like singing a lullaby. And it's that same woman, that same mom that dropped the tear on her when she was just kind of lulling her back to calm.
Samoon's connecting the dots, seeing this woman pretty much evaporate in snow, and having crushed this piece of snow that had fallen on him. He's very just observant. He's quiet because he's seen darkness embodied before, but generally he knows that in his little experience with it, he's more or less sought it, but to see it on someone else is just kind of sent a little tingle down his spine of Tryina's in trouble, and he's not sure why.
The sun begins to rise, and you hear a whistling. There's an old man walking a large mastiff down the road. And he's got a newspaper in one arm, the mastiff not restrained by any leash, but running around sniffing, peeing on certain pots and on walls of buildings. He goes up towards the emerald door and disappears around the corner from your sight, as it is quite a large courtyard. Samoon, you easily notice this. Tryina, your body is very sore and aching. Assuming you're not unconscious, you feel a very powerful drain from your vitality.
I wait for a long moment until I can't feel any piece of her cold air anymore, because I can feel the difference between the winter window and the winter that she brings. And then when I'm certain she is gone, I pick myself up and I touch where my face is, you know, that feeling when it's so cold it's burning, and it still feels that way. And all of the look of sorrow, the feigned depression is gone, and there's just a fierce anger burning in her eyes. She kind of straightens her hair, fixes the dried flowers, puts on a different countenance, and then goes to check on Eldon.
Eldon, you see his frightened face of shock and awe, beauty and fear at the same time. He is completely encapsulated in ice. That is how he appears. And there is the letter, the will that he was holding. It also has frozen, dropped to the ground, and shattered in 1,000 pieces.
Well, he didn't like that will anyways. May I use prestidigitation to put a little bit of fire in my hands and start to thaw him? Would you allow that?
I can. You start to do that, and it works at a microscopic level.
Okay.
It's going to take a while.
All right.
But is easily doable. Just it'll be a while.
Okay.
Do you continue on
I'll
doing that?
probably keep doing that until someone comes and interrupts me.
Yep. Samoon and Bertie, you sense the danger has passed. You hear Tryina go out of the room, and a small little spark comes from the House of Healing.
I'm getting kind of cold, so Bertie's gonna just open the window and climb back in.
Bertie, all your clothes are neatly laid out, still there, exactly where they were left. Samoon, your cloak hugs a little tight around you and provides some warmth, and you feel the almost like tendrils where the coat dangles at your legs. It whips around and then instinctively coils around you, providing protection. When you both see Tryina, she has a large, frost-bitten handprint on her face.
Tryina, what? Who was that? What happened?
I don't want to talk about it.
You both see Eldon frozen as Tryina's making very little headway to unthaw him.
Perhaps if we can loosen his feet, we can move him to a fireplace. I'm just trying to offer
No, I understand.
small words of advice.
She doesn't move. She's still kind of doing her hover, and then she just goes, ah! And like sighs in frustration, and just shakes her head. She's like, I don't know. We'll probably be fine in a little bit. Let's just go get this dog. This guy.
He's gonna look back at Bertie. How's it going in there, Bertie?
Trying to put my clothes on. And she's like accidentally put her shirt on backwards, but she's getting there.
Samoon, Eldon is not thawing.
Can I look around and see if there's a fireplace nearby in the medical area, or do I have to take him back out to the waiting room?
There's a fireplace. You'd have to push him over there with some effort. You could easily push him towards the fireplace.
Okay. I'm assuming the fire is lit, or did she put it out as part of her flavor?
It looks lit. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to very delicately, just inch by inch, without trying to push him over, because I see the paper on the floor. And I don't want him to crash, because 2 and 2 means dead.
I will help when I see what he's doing.
How much do you care about Eldon?
I care an awful lot.
Okay, you sense that there is a slight chance. Any movement that he falls, any kind of jostling, and he would shatter. This appears to be some high fae magic. It's not just your average frozen in a block of ice.
Gotcha.
There's some petrification involved.
Look, I don't know if this is a good idea. It's not my fault. He shouldn't have walked in here. Maybe we can go get Kalan or somebody.
Well, why don't you help us understand at least in part what happened here.
It's not my fault.
Well, no one is saying that it is your fault, Tryina. We saw that woman, and she clearly was a very nasty woman, so you have nothing
She might hear you.
No, she was very, very nice.
What?
Oh, yes. We would never, ever speak ill of the Queen of Air of Darkness. She's just so fair and beautiful and lovely. And like she's saying all these things very dramatically, like she believes them. Her face is just deadpanned. So perfect. Everybody just worships her for her goodness and her grace. Oh, we would never speak ill of her.
Wasn't there this god that hung out in the bar? Do you think he would be able to help?
Oh, yes. He was the bigger man. Perhaps. Do you know if he works here, Bertie? Have you seen? Is he like a teacher or somebody?
I don't know. I mean, he does like his warm beer, but he comes in sometimes and he really likes the poetry. Maybe he knows some poems that could sort of unfreeze Eldon.
I thought he liked jokes.
Oh.
He liked my joke, but I don't know that that is normal.
Well, tell another joke and maybe he'll show up.
I didn't tell the joke before for him to be there.
Well,
What
but
if
it might
we just-
work.
I mean, what if we just kind of hid Eldon maybe in like the medicine room?
No, we don't want to move him.
Oh, well, I can probably pick him up. I mean, I'm pretty strong, and just kind of move him and put him like away so people aren't going to trip over him and he doesn't crash to the ground. And then we can try finding somebody that can help and like thaw him.
I mean, you are very strong, but you're also a little diminutive, and we don't want to chip off his toes.
I think he'd rather be alive and without toes than be dead with toes.
That's not terrible logic.
One of his eyes droops closed. One of his eyes remains open, and you can see it is darting around frantically.
Can you remind me what the potions I stole were?
You stole a divine aid potion and a sleep spell.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, and it's a one-time use of those two spells, divine favor and sleep.
I don't think divine favor is going to actually help me in this moment.
You can clearly see that the
Oh yeah, that's not gonna help me in this moment.
the will that shattered across the floor has now formed into tiny droplets and slowly evaporating in the heat.
So we don't want him to melt. We need to save him.
You are sensing some pretty high Fey magic here, Tryina.
Oh dear.
This is
Okay.
not
Yeah.
just frozen.
You know, don't they have like super powerful mages here?
Well, our task was to go talk to the guy about the book for the other guy. Maybe he has a book about this too. I saw him. He was walking toward the courtyard with his dog. Perhaps we can go catch him, and he can help us.
Sure. I mean, it's better than nothing.
I'm gonna go over and try to like take or carry him or drag him, whatever's more feasible, to the nice cold medicine room.
All right. Bertie, you're going to have to make a strength check. There is a 1 in 20 chance that you drop him.
Can I help?
Yes, you can try and help. Bertie, you can roll with advantage.
Yeah, when I see Bertie starting to like
hold
lift
on.
him up.
No,
Okay.
I'm gonna say if you want to help, you're both gonna have to make a check. Upon a natural 1, he falls and dashes to pieces.
Now I don't want to help anymore.
Then you will let Bertie roll with one check.
No. Because if either one of us gets a natural 1, he fails. He falls, right?
If a natural 1, yeah.
So then helping is not helpful because that gives us double the chances for a natural 1. So
Mhm.
instead, I'll
Bertie-
just turn around and be like, Bertie, no!
11.
That's 2 ones.
The luck of the Hindfolk seems to favor you in this moment. Bertie, you just lift him up over your shoulder and carry him like a piece of lumber to the ice room and slam him down hard. And by the luck of the Hindfolk, he just does not break at all. And in this nice cold room, there's a big old hunk of meat hanging in the refrigerator. He is left there, and his skin begins to frost up again instead of melt.
I just pat him on the head and go, "We'll be back."
One eye is completely shut, and the other eye is slowly drooping, but fights to maintain consciousness.
I would like to write a note that just says, "Powerful fey magic. Do not remove. Do not try to help unless an expert. It's not my fault." And I want to just tape it to his chest.
Eldon left in the icebox. The 3 of you, where do your feet carry you off to?
I guess we're chasing after the dude with the dog. The gentleman with the dog, I'm sorry.
Yeah, indeed. You run outside, and the cold air is nice, brisk, and wonderful winter morning. However, the sun is bright in the sky. People are already beginning to move out. Purple and green robes, a couple orange robes, everyone moving about. Many, many pilgrims have moved in to Bald Top Library, the Court of Air. Because of the winter and the harshness, this is a wonderful place of refuge for travelers, as long as they can produce the book. You do notice that Bald Top Brew has a sign that says under new management, and the door are closed, and there are cold and hungry and thirsty patrons who are waiting outside for the doors to open. Samoon, you saw exactly where Crankshaft and his dog went, and you see him coming around the corner again after the dog took a long hike. The dog barrels towards one of you. Bertie the dog barrels towards you and just begins sniffing and licking and circling around you, as you are probably the person that smells the most like something interesting to smell.
I still have meat in my pocket.
Okay. He doesn't go towards your pocket. Seems like he goes everywhere else, but you notice by elimination, process of elimination, the dog doesn't seem to go towards the meat, surprisingly. Crankshaft, the old man, he's got a large leather cap on, big white sideburns. He's pretty stocky of a human. He's got the newspaper folded up under him, and he's got a backpack that he's toting around now. And he says, Pete, get back over here. Get back and don't bother that Hindfolk lady. Excuse me, my dog is a little interested in everyone today. It's got to be the brisk, cool air. And he begins to walk, giving you a nod.
Pat the dog on the head and kind of give him a good shove.
Come along, Pete. Let's go.
You have a nice dog, sir.
Well, thank you very much. Yes, he's one of 2. Thank you very much.
He is a mighty beast, if I must say so. What
Yep,
do you
yep.
feed him?
Feed him? Well, he's a special dog. He's not going to average just eat, dog food or meat or pretty much any kind of scraps you give him. He is more interested in good conversation, dreams, maybe a good joke now and then. Yeah, he's a special little dog. Doesn't have much of an appetite.
That is most peculiar. I figure most animals like to eat, but I've never seen an animal eat a dream.
Well, he's not most animals, and the dog disappears from your sight and instantly is behind you. He says, well, all right, he's just showing off now.
That is
The dog
amazing.
blinks out of existence and then blinks over to a nearby tree where a student is praying some prayers, and the dog urinates heavily on the tree. The urine comes out in many different colors and begins to sparkle and spray like fireworks. The dog runs around a little bit and then disappears out of sight and disappears right next to Mr. Crankshaft, right as he pats the dog upon the head. Tryina.
Would I recognize this as a fey creature?
It is a blink dog.
That's what I thought. So Tryina's just gonna perk up immediately and be like, "You have a blink dog. You said you have 2 blink dogs?
I haven't heard him called by that name since purchased them from the owner. A lady of Dreamland, I presume.
Is she still around?"
Oh, no, I actually made the trip myself.
Oh, okay. Do you know a whole lot about Fey magic?
Well, I mean, I know a lot about many things. Oh, I'm getting kind of suspicious you asking all these questions.
We
I don't
may
usually.
have somebody who accidentally made somebody mad who was a powerful archfey, and we are trying to save his life. Can you help us, please, sir?
Powerful archfey. Is this some kind of joke?
No. And she points to the slap on her face.
It is no joke, sir. I saw her myself. She was very nasty. And she poofed away in snowflakes.
He looks around at the dog's response to you. He sees the frost on your face and says, "Ooh, you might want to get that checked out. That's a pretty powerful sign." He notices your elegant features and recognizes you as an Eladrin. And he speaks to you in Sylvan.
I think so.
You should know that language.
Yeah.
regardless. Yeah.
Okay.
He speaks to you in Sylvan and says, "Hi, nice to meet you," he says. And he says, "My name is Crankshaft," in very broken Sylvan.
Yes, it's very nice to meet you too, I say in the common, because I'm
And then
frazzled.
And then he starts thinking, and he taps his head and he says in Sylvan, "How much for the dog?"
And she like pauses. I'll pay you 2 silver for him. No, that's not what we're doing right now. Can you help
And
us, sir?
he looks pretty good. He's like, "Yeah, I haven't spoken that in a while. I don't mind taking a look." Now his curiosity peaked as to wonder what kind of pranks you are pulling. He follows.
He is at the medical bay, but there is no one there to help him. So that is where we are going.
Well, maybe you could talk to the priest. And as he walks, he sees Eldon.
Well,
As you lead him, he sees.
Kinda is the priest.
Whoa, I tell you what, he looks pretty bad. Pretty petrified.
Yeah.
Yep,
You
you
can
should
help,
definitely.
right?
Well, I could tell you this is pretty high level magic here. You're going to need at least a 5th level spell to take care of this, I'm pretty sure. But, well, I don't know. Look at that. And he begins muttering, taking his time, not seeming to really know exactly where this is going. Well, yep, I would definitely take him to a doctor.
He is the doctor.
Oh, well, who treats the doctors then?
Well, how don't you know you've lived here forever?
Oh, well, yeah, well, that I'm sure you could go talk to Kalan or one of the gatekeepers or one of the master readers. I'm sure they could tell you something about it. My advice is don't wait in line for a book. You could be waiting in line for a real long time. I would definitely go get the Avowed to help this young man out.
Speaking of books.
Does Bertie or Samoon respond to Crankshaft? He seems to be interested in this poor man's fate, but doesn't really have anything that he can do in the moment to help him.
Samoon's mindset is Crankshaft is now with Eldon, so he just steps out of the way to let him do his thing, and he's just trying to play with the dog.
Okay. The dog performs a couple of tricks, just bouncing back and forth, moving at really quick speed. Teleports here and there, and you have a little ball. You throw the ball, and the dog catches it before the ball even gets to the other side of the hallway. And then the young man down the hall, you can hear him coughing a little bit. Bertie, how do you respond?
I still think that we should maybe talk to that god. If we can figure out how to get a hold of him, that poetry god. he really, really enjoys poems and jokes, and he's probably the most powerful guy I know.
Bertie, you're recognizing his name as it's coming to you. He goes by Milo.
Hello? Miller? Begins with an M.
Oh, Milo? You know Milo? Says Crankshaft.
I've served him a few beers from time to time.
Well, tell him he owes me a chess game.
Do you know where we could find him?
Well, knowing him, he's probably at the Bald Top Brew.
No, that's closed.
Well, they're
he's not
opening
there.
today. Yeah, they're.
Huh.
Oh, hey, Bertie. I recognize you. Waitress at the Bald Top Brew. Heard about what happened to the manager. Terrible things.
I'm sorry if I spilled stuff on you.
Oh, no, that's okay. I'm just glad I didn't get cursed by one of them cultists.
Oh, me too. Oh, wait, I did.
Oh, well, that's what you get for working for sour people. Hope you learned your lesson.
Well, okay, so maybe that's an option. Are we still going to try going to that other person's house to go, do our top secret mission? Oh, there's no mission. I mean, we were just supposed to go visit an old friend in the middle of the night that has a dog.
He's not paying attention. He's rubbing his finger on the ice, licking it to see what the ice tastes like.
I'm gonna look at them and like, don't lick him! And that's trying to mouth to you.
Very indignant at your tone of voice. Oh, I'll lick him if I want to.
No, sir, it's very rude.
What? You're rude, young lady. Don't you know you can't just tell people what to do? He kind of challenges you a little bit. His jaw gets tight as if he's ready for you to fight back, to retort.
Having had a very bad day, I'm gonna kind of square up to him and just be like, look, I'm just pointing out common courtesy. I'm not telling you what to do. Would you want someone to lick you if you were frozen in an icicle, sir?
I think I would like licking. I think that would feel kind of good. I don't know. Some people might like that.
He addresses Tryina and says, let me tell you something about common courtesy. Most folks know it's not right to just correct people out in the open, especially interruptions. But as far as I know, there's no rule book about licking a block of ice encasing somebody inside.
I'm gonna go get Kalan. Why don't you guys stay with Mr. Crankshaw and see what other good ideas he has? My goal is to remove myself from the situation because I can feel that I'm not gonna make it better.
No, he's ready to fight. He's just cranky and just ready. It definitely in Samoon and Bertie, you can probably see that he does feel insulted by Tryina's command. It doesn't seem like he's the kind of person that's used to taking orders.
Samoon's gonna. Well, Tryina, I think that is a good idea. And if Mr. Crankshaft wants to lick the man, then he may lick the man, so long as no one's murdering anybody, right? Am I right? And Samoon's just gonna lick at Crankshaw and just lick Eldon.
Well, now listen, young man. I was licking my finger after touching the ice. There's a big difference between licking the block of ice, which is what she implied I was doing. And I wouldn't advise you sticking your tongue on a block of ice. I saw a movie about that one time. And the poor kid got it stuck.
Bertie's just running her tongue up the guy's face at this point.
Karina's walking away. She's gonna go look for Kalan.
You know,
hoping that she'll find him at the gate.
At that moment, you walk through the door and Kalan walks in. Crankshaft mutters and says, "Oh, well, look what the cat dragged in. I suppose you have some working to do. You just seem to show up every time there's a problem." He huffs, grabs his suitcase, whistles, Pete! The dog appears at his side, boom, appears out the door. Crankshaft walks by, out the door. Kalan just looks and says, "Did you get the book?"
Oh!
No. Not yet. That's kind of gone down wrong on the importance ladder. It's not my fault. Can you help Eldon?
"Bertie, why are your clothes on backwards.
She looks down, sees a little tag. Oops, sorry. Turns her shirt around.
Bertie, other room, please. Kalan looks incredibly busy, and he says a couple things. I'm sorry, you said Eldon was in trouble? Oh my gosh!
He's a block of ice.
Whoa!
You know
What?
5th level spells? That's what Mr. Crankshaw said we needed.
He pulls out a stone as soon as possible, and he says, Skoda, get here as soon as possible. Eldon needs help. Okay, we have some mages along the way. I assume something terrible happened, and he sees the medicine cabinets emptied. He says, oh, Eldon, what did you get yourself into? That young man pays no attention. This is going to bode very badly for him.
Oh no, he paid such good attention. He was so good. It wasn't his fault. We got invaded by little ice people who stole the medicine.
You know, we had an attack of mephits earlier this month.
Really? Oh, it's an
Yes.
infestation then.
Well, no, it could be quite possible. How tall were they?
Do I know what a mephit is? Is it a fake creature?
No, it's not. It's an elemental
So then
creature.
Okay, so I have no clue then. It was, and she just like sticks her hand out. That tall.
She almost knocks your head off, Bertie.
Hey!
He looks to you, Samoon,
Sorry.
for confirmation.
Well, I don't know what a method is, but if it was what I saw, then perhaps yes, it was a method.
He looks and says, "Well, okay, we'll get it taken care of. Are you all three okay?"
I'm very good.
Perfectly fine.
Bertie's like
Okay.
smelling under armpits. She's like, I think I'm okay.
Bertie, go check on the patient, please. Make sure he's okay as well. I'm assuming Eldon hasn't taken care of him. Bertie, when you go to walk in the door, the young man lies there, looking incredibly thin, like a dried husk. He's got the blankets pulled over him. He's shivering, sweating. His eyes are moving back and forth, staring up at the ceiling, as if he's trying to track with some invisible nightmare. The room smells just like that blade that Hirson had. A wispy, ashy smoke mixed with rot.
Do we still have that potion? Do you think that potion would help?
The divine favor and the sleeping potion.
Well, the divine favor, yeah.
Yeah. Tryina doesn't know what the divine favor potion does. So
Bertie, if that comes to your mind, you would know it's on Tryina's person.
So I'm gonna go over and grab that potion
Okay.
from Tryina. And then I if she's gonna hold on to it, I'm just stick my fist in her face and say, give me it.
we don't know if it's gonna poison him. We're not doctors. Remember what happened to Samoon when he took a potion that wasn't good for him?
He's fine now. It can't make him any worse.
I guess we found this one in the medical closet, and I'll hand it over to her.
Full-on
As Sarah
says,
cries.
I'm sorry, what is that? And he looks at it and says, is this what the methods were trying to take?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
I
took it
found
from
it
them.
on the floor. Oh wait.
This is you coat your weapons with this. Well, we've been using it for surgeons to help their instruments have divine favor. It does it makes weapons and tools more powerful. Thank you, Bertie.
So not for human consumption?
No, you don't. What? Not at all. You put it on your weapons and
Oh.
tools. It's fine. Usually it's used for smiting, but we've found it's also useful for healing if you have a certain instrument, if you need to perform a surgery.
So it's not good to put potions down people's throat when you don't know what they do, even if you find it in the hospital. That's the lesson we're learning, right? And I look down at Bertie.
Bertie, how is he?
He looks pretty much like death.
That's
I mean,
what's to be expected.
He's gonna die. I mean, he's death.
Well, I came to tell you we did dig up those 3 graves. the ones that we suspected were murdered by Hirson and Dumpo. And we found claw marks on the inside of those coffins. What it appears is that this blade causes a death spell that stops your heart just long enough for your loved ones to believe you are dead, only to bury you alive. This is terrible news and has really caused a grim spirit to come over everyone here at Bald Top Library. This was no innocent cult. They were indeed trying to make the best use of Baal's time. A wicked, wicked god. I'm grateful you brought this to our attention because we've been able to sadly notify the families. And of course, Dumpo pled guilty to all three of these accounts. He will be taken to High Keep and tried, just to let you know. Bertie and Samoon, I can only say that I'm just grateful you didn't join them. It would have broken my heart to have put you into the ground. What we're expecting is that this young man will appear dead, but we should not give up hope. If he appears dead, let us continue to find that healing book. I'm assuming you had tried to wrest it from Crankshaft's hands and were unsuccessful.
We were getting around to the subject.
Let me tell you, he is normally a very easy man to get along with until there's a point of contention.
Noticed. How does he take flattery?
A direct approach is best, I've learned.
Okay.
He's very pragmatic. The only thing is, he absolutely relishes in the fact that he is the owner of his parcel of land within Bald Top Library, has wrangled a contract that has secured his possession and his property for the end of time. He enjoys being the only one that we cannot control. At that moment, Skoda walks in, the Dragonborn master reader. He has a couple mages, and they've got some books open. They begin to cast a spell of greater restoration, restoring the poor petrified Eldon. As the ice gently melts off his skin slowly after slowly by slow, you can see that the life is beginning to come back in his skin. His eyes are flickering, though he looks incredibly pained. And about halfway through the procedure, Kalan just says to three of you, This might take some time. You don't have to wait here. The worst is over, and he'll recover. We've already got someone running Bald Top Brew for new management. I will get new management here for the House of Healing as well, while Eldon recovers. I don't think you need to worry anymore. In this House of Healing, what is something that Samoon would be paying the most attention to? Where would his thoughts and attention go?
Seeing all the aides come to heal Eldon. He's probably found himself like just lounging on a couch in the waiting area, just thinking about what he saw with Tryina and how if he should ask more about it, or contemplating if he should just wait to let her share. And he's then thinking also, in a fun sense, he's also thinking about the dog too. Like, he's not seen an animal like that before, so he's pondering what other types of animals exist in the world at large that are similar to this one. And he's thinking that if that dog is capable of teleporting, and there's two of them, how will this house experience work if they do have to go in secretively?
Bertie, you notice Samoon lounging on the couch in the waiting room, but what do you pay the most attention to, and where do your thoughts go during this scene where Eldon is being slowly thawed throughout the day.
Bertie is kind of remembering what Eldon tasted like and thinking he was salty. And then she's kind of thinking about the book and finding Crank again, the cranky man, and just kind of accomplishing the task.
Where are you in this room right now?
Well, if Samoon is on the couch, then Bertie is clearly sprawled out on the floor in the waiting area.
And Tryina, if you in like fashion would also take the time to describe what you're paying attention to, where your thoughts are going, and where you're located.
Tryina is standing off to the side, and she's keeping her hand up over the mark on her face. But she is watching those who are restoring Eldon and wondering if they can restore her too. But she's too afraid to ask because she doesn't want them to ask any questions about why she needs restoration.
Where are you located? Where do we see you?
I guess off to the corner in the same room as where they're thawing Eldon until we decide to go off. Until they tell me that we're going to go on our mission, I'm going to just be focused in on that.
Samoon, while you're slouching a little bit, you feel a tightness in your belly. You feel gas moving through your body. And then suddenly you let out the most enormous autonomic burp in the room, and pink bubbles slowly leak out of your face. The effects of that potion have worn off.
Oh, I did not realize that was still in there. Whew.
That was a good one.
That surprised me.
Samoon, at that moment too, you suddenly realize that the couch you were sitting on is a lot softer than you thought it was, and you feel yourself sink into the couch in an appropriate fashion. For the last 8 hours, you have felt strangely light.
I must stay off of any soups at the bolt up. I apparently have gained some weight while I have been here.
Every story comes to an ending, so for now, we must conclude. Thank you for listening, Sojourners. Your attention will not go unrewarded, and we look forward to continuing this adventure. If you enjoyed this background music and ambiance, you should check out Tabletop Audio. Find them at www.tabletopaudio.com. And take the time to sojourn with us. If you would like to read inspirational articles on developing your very own role-playing games, visit Sojourners Awake at www.sojournersawake.com. And if you need something else to listen to, in the meantime, check out The Bookish and the Brave, where you can follow Vaughn, Sterling, and Hawkins as they experience their adventures at Baldtop Library. To begin the story, you should check out Season 6, Episode 1, Boshin is Aflame. And as always, may your story continue.